And at the base of everyone's spine are a group of cells that are in the form of the flower of life, and almost all organic, especially mammalian species. There's this flower of life cellular formation in the base of the spine. It's there from the time you're born and stays there until you die.
The flower of life that Billy Carsons is referring to is hidden deep in the root chakra. Also known as the Muladhara, this chakra is considered to be the starting point or the root of Kundalini energy. The flower of life, of course, encapsulates all the shapes and forms of reality. It's like a blueprint for life forms coming into manifestation. It illustrates complex patterns and energies associated with life and the cosmos. Specifically, we see the Vesica Pisces hidden in the pattern. And of course, we see that beautiful sign in cell birth, in cell division and cell proliferation. And the flower of life also contains the platonic solids that embody the Fibonacci sequence or the golden ratio that of course we also see throughout nature. So the flower of life really serves as a map for things that are developing and coalescing in the light world, coming up and being built or emerging into the visible realm. But should the description of the flower of life concealed at the base of the spine be interpreted symbolically rather than literally, or is there a true physiological parallel that's crucial to our inner alchemy and to Kundalini energy? Let's take a look. The coccygeal body that's located at the base of the spine near the coccyx or tailbone is often linked with dormant Kundalini energy and has sometimes been dubbed the Kundalini gland. The coccygeal body is an irregular oval-shaped gland between the rectal wall and the tip of the tailbone or coccyx. During active Kundalini, one can often feel a pulsation in the sacrum. I suspect that this rhythmic movement might be the Kundalini gland or coccygeal body becoming active. And that is from The Biology of Kundalini by Jana Dixon. So the coccygeal body is seen as a source or reservoir of life force energy and is thought to be activated during Kundalini awakening, and that contributes to the upward flow or the sensation of energy in the spinal column. The golden spinal vapor mounts up within the osseous serpent to hold the brain in spiritual lubrication. The golden aura of the initiate is an etheric essence specialized in the tiny coccygeal gland at the base of the spine and appearing as the blaze that mounts and bathes the egg of being set in the symbolic Rosicrucian chalice. And that's from Key Truths of Occult Philosophy by Mark Edmund Jones. Now, the coccygeal body is a small cluster or flower of cells and is said to be involved in vascular, nervous and endocrine functions. Although its physiological role is not that well understood, its location and its appearance as a clustering of cells could well be interpreted as a flower of life, as resembling that sacred symbol. In his book, A Way of Life, Sir William Osler mentions the effect of coccygeal gland extract in promoting pineal metabolism. This offers absolute validity to the coccygeal gland's role in Kundalini awakening or in the preserving and raising of the sacred secretion, which does indeed stimulate pineal metabolism, of course, as well. For anyone who's new to this channel, pineal metabolism is when the pineal gland transforms or upgrades serotonin and melatonin into DMT, pinealine, and the other wondrous biochemicals of enlightenment. And it's this mechanism that causes the felt experience of enlightenment and is a catalyst for many positive shifts in the body, mind, soul, and spirit. When the Kundalini hits the pineal gland, it ionizes the spin ratio of serotonin. Its electrons interchange, altering its chemical nature. The molecule itself is reconfigured to its highest potential, pinealine. This inner alchemy is also veiled in the metaphors of the Bible book of Revelation, as I explained in Elevation, the divine power of the human body, and as highlighted by this quote from The Three Mountains by Olivia Cabral. From the 1st to 7th verse, Apocalypse speaks about the coccygeal center, the Church of Ephesus. In this center, the igneous serpent is found coiled 3.5 times in this creative center. Whoever awakens it and makes it rise through the spinal column receives the flaming sword in the superior worlds and enters Eden. Wow. So the coccygeal gland, more commonly known nowadays as the coccygeal body, is described as a small vestigial structure located near the tailbone. And according to the thesaurus of root words, vestigial comes from the roots vestige and vestigium, meaning footprint or trace. And interestingly, a vestigium is described as a degenerated or atrophied organ, a sign of something that once existed but has passed away or disappeared. So we could consider the coccygeal gland as an imprint or something semi-manifest, something sort of etheric in nature. Or what I prefer is that we consider it to be the blueprint of a gland that can be reactivated, exercised, and developed similarly to the pineal gland. Perhaps the reinvigoration of this gland has to do with the rebuilding or building of the solar body, the soma heliacon that's mentioned in the book of Revelation. Now let's look at the coccygeal bodies or the Kundalini gland's 3 major involvements. Firstly, it's connected with the nervous system. Secondly, it's integrated with the vascular system. And thirdly, it's theorized to interact with or serve the endocrine system. The threefold nature of this mysterious gland led to it being dubbed Mukta Triveni in Gnosticism. Tri means 3 and Veni means stream, so the 3 stream. And Mukta Triveni is esoterically known as the place where the 3 holy rivers meet. Very interesting. So that also reflects into it being the junction of the 3 nadis, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Biblically, this location is known as Shaless, which means 3, threefold or triune. With all this in mind, the relation of this tiny but magical gland to the great regeneration is very clear. The nervous, vascular, and endocrine systems are all key to the energetic and physiological shifts that happen during Kundalini awakening or during moments of enlightenment. The vascular system is made up of the vessels that carry blood and lymph. So the vascular nature of the coccygeal body shows that it must contribute to the overall flow of blood and lymph fluid in the sacral region, and then obviously throughout the body as a consequence. Lymph fluid in particular is implicated in the great regeneration because cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF or Christ oil, is part of the lymphatic system and often considered to be the medium through which spiritual energy or through which light energy travels. The lymphatic system is synonymous with what's known as the light body because it's the medium for light to enter, cleanse, and regenerate the body. CSF is energized during Kundalini awakening, facilitating the movement of spiritual energy through the spine and into the brain, potentially activating higher states of consciousness. During deep meditative states, changes in CSF dynamics contribute to the experiences described in Kundalini awakenings, and the interplay between CSF and light energy, prana, chi, or Kundalini, bridges the gap between the physiological functions of the body and our spiritual experiences. The coccygeal gland's interplay with the endocrine system further highlights its integral position and part in the great regeneration, because endocrine glands such as the pituitary and the pineal are key to the alchemy of ascension, to the sacred secretion process, because it's their secretions of hormones, neurotransmitters, and other biochemicals that perpetually affect the entire picture or state of the body, including our mind and emotions and our experiences of life. The coccyx holds significance in Islamic tradition too, particularly concerning beliefs about resurrection. This belief is based on various hadith, so sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, and one notable hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah states, "Between the two sounds of the trumpet there will be 40 years. Then Allah will send down water from the sky and the dead bodies will grow like vegetation grows. And there is nothing of the human body that does not decay except one bone, and that is the last bone of the coccyx or tailbone, and from that bone Allah will reconstruct the whole body." In this hadith, the Prophet Muhammad emphasizes that the coccyx, referred to as the last bone or Ajbu ad-Danab, remains intact and is the seed from which the body will be resurrected on the day of judgment. So let's look at some other intriguing historical, linguistic, and esoteric names for the coccygeal body, because it certainly has a few. First, it's known as the glandular coccygia and corpus coccygeum, which are both Latin for coccygeal gland. Second, it's known as the Lusker's gland, which is named after the German anatomist who first examined it. Then we have the coccygeal node or Muladhara node, which refers to its nodal structure, reminiscent of the nodes of the lymph system. And the word node comes from the Latin nodus, meaning knot or aggregate. And of course, in Buddhism, they talk about the different knots of the different sections of the body. So that could tie in with its nodal form. Fourth, it's called the caudal gland, which refers to its position at the caudal, meaning tail end of the spine. And interestingly, as we've said before on this channel, the name tail actually means oil in Sanskrit. The fifth name we have for it is the coccygeal glomus, which is an anatomical term used in medical literature. Interesting, the root word cock from the Greek kokos means berry. And the appearance of certain berries definitely resembles the sacred flower or seed of life symbol, and indeed the way in which cells duplicate and multiply into clusters. Furthermore, glom comes from the root glob, meaning sphere or globe, but glom specifically refers to a cluster of globes, as we see in the word conglomerate, like a conglomerate of different vessels. And then lastly, the coccygeal body has been referred to as the flower of life node, a symbolic name that definitely, I would say, coincides with Billy Carsons' description of a flower of life at the base of the spine. In relation to the alchemy of ascension, the coccygeal body is said to pulsate when Kundalini flow increases, and this phenomenon has been esoterically described as an inward ejaculation up the spine. So what is this inward eruption of Kundalini rising? Well, in previous videos and books, we've explored how Kundalini energy is synonymous with nitric oxide, known as the molecule of health. Nitric oxide is made up of nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen has 7 protons, 7 electrons, and 7 neutrons. 7, 7, 7. And oxygen, which has 8 protons, 8 electrons, and 8 neutrons. 8, 8, 8. And of course, both of those symbolic numbers appear in dozens of esoteric texts and theories, and their relation to nitrogen and oxygen just simply can't be dismissed. Kundalini and nitric oxide are inextricably connected and may even be exact equivalents of one another. Just as Kundalini is said to trigger the release of the biochemicals of enlightenment, nitric oxide also stimulates pineal metabolism and the release of these life-altering, perception-shifting secretions. So the coccygeal body ties into the alchemy of ascension perfectly because it contains epithelioid cells, which are known to generate nitric oxide. And the position of this teeny gland means that increased nitric oxide flow would indeed be experienced as warm energy rising through the spine from that point. Every endocrine gland is important, but 3 of them are worth noting for their specific associations with Kundalini. As we know, Kundalini energy rises from the base of the spine, from the first chakra called the Muladhara in Sanskrit. A gland-like body is actually located at the base of the coccyx, composed of smooth muscle that can pulsate like an ejaculation. This body lies between the rectal wall and the tip of the tailbone. This area is fed by several nerves, arteries, and veins, and it directly influences the nervous system through chemical messages via the blood. It interconnects hormonal, circulatory, sympathetic, parasympathetic, and immune systems, and may well be a key to metamorphosis. During excitation, such as during sex, the body produces nitric oxide and other neurotransmitters. Researcher Jana Dixon proposes that during maximum nerve activity, the spine is also supercharged with glutamate, calcium, and other ions, in addition to nitric oxide. This combination sets off a chain of reactions that causes sensations such as heat, tingling, and pressure to rise up the spine between the two sympathetic trunks, transmitted in a double helix fashion. And that is from Kundalini, Divine Energy and Divine Life by the wonderful Cindy Dale. In conclusion, this highly veiled, mysterious and enigmatic gland really is a nexus of the body-mind system, affecting hormone secretions, affecting pineal metabolism, blood flow, and the purifying and healing immune system, or the lymphatic system. They're both the same thing. And this gland can be stimulated through right living, through good thoughts, good words, good deeds, keeping our vibration high and uplifted, which is part, of course, of the sacred secretion practice that we do each month when the moon is in our sun sign, which we can also aspire to do every day of our lives, integrating as much yoga, breath work, chanting and humming, barefoot walking, singing. All of these wonderful practice will harmonize and stimulate the glands of the body, and the coccygeal gland is one of those sacred glands in the body that is a key to the great regeneration, a key to the threefold enlightenment, also known as the preserving and raising of the sacred secretion. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Of course, the links to my books and other resources can be found in the description box below this video, so don't forget to check those out as well. And may divine love manifest itself in you all, always and in all ways. Namaste.